Hi guys, in this video, it's gonna be for my membership. And this is a video, for 13 years I've been asked this question. And I was like, what better way to answer it? Put it on my membership channel, because the guys that are on my membership channel tend to not be dicks or not have some sort of reply. And guys, this is just strictly my opinion. And it's just nothing that I just came up with. I've done research in this. I've actually done testing in this. I've talked to a lot of people. And again, this is my opinion. And I will say this. And usually when somebody comes up and asks me this, because I've been approached a lot of times with this question, is I'll tell them what my thoughts are on it, and it'll be short and sweet. And I've had people come up and ask me this question is about rolling senior softball bats. Now, I don't want to get into rolling U-Trip or rolling ASA, but I think the same applies to those two. And let me tell you why I think it's better for seniors, especially those seniors that live up north, those seniors that have that under 75 mile an hour bat speed, what they should do. And whenever I think Kelly Sports came out with it, was heat rolling. And what does heat rolling do to a bat? And would I recommend it? Because they offer it like $25, $30 to get your bat heat rolled. Dave, what do they do when they heat roll a bat? Well, let me talk about heat rolling a bat. What they do, they take what they do is they take a heating pad, and they'll take it on your bat and they'll roll it up in it, let it sit there for about 45 minutes on high to heat up that barrel, and then they take it and lightly roll it. You can, when you do senior softball bats, when you roll them, they call it a light roll is what they put on them because of the way bat is built. They don't want to damage the carbon. What happens to a lot of guys that have their bats rolled and they crack is they get an unexperienced bat roller in there, and he does it just like he does the U-Trip bats and the ASA bats. ASA bats are rolled a little bit different than U-Trip, and U-Trip, both of them are rolled different than senior softball bats. I don't think this is going to be a long video. You guys can go back and look at the video. I had to been 2011, 2010, 2011, I decided to do rolling a senior softball bat. What does it do? Does it increase performance? Because guys, this is what they call altering. This is what they call altering a bat if you roll it. There is no way to tell if a bat has been rolled. There's no way to tell. You can cut the carbon over, you can cut it off, you can look inside of it. There's nothing they can tell. That's how come it's not checked, because it is against their rules. You cannot do anything to a senior softball bat that actually increases the break-in period. You cannot take that bat and you cannot bang it up against a tree. You cannot take that bat and bang it up against your tire to break it in prematurely. Now, first of all, let me tell you guys what my thoughts are on it. I don't think it does shit to the bat. I don't think it does. I don't think it increases performance. I did a video on this years ago, And that's the reason I'm talking to you guys about this. I'm not spewing off at the mouth on something I don't know nothing about. I usually do research in it. I don't take nobody's word for shit. So my biggest thing was you guys outlawed it, and you always put it in there with shaved bats, senior bats and shaved bats. It's not the same thing. Shaving increases the performance. Rolling breaks your bat in prematurely. I think if you have that 75 and above mile-an-hour bat speed, I don't think you should roll your bats. I think the only excuse you would have to roll your bat is if you break it before a tournament and you don't have enough time to get another bat broke in of that same bat to go to that tournament. It's a big tournament. It's one of those world tournaments, or you're traveling to play. Then I think those guys over 75 mile an hour, get it done. Go ahead. Because it's going to prematurely break your bat in. It's probably going to put about 200 swings on your bat as in rolling. That's my thought on what I came up with, about 200 swings. 200 quality swings. I'm not talking about 200 of you 60 mile an hour bat guys, you 50 mile an hour bat guys. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 200 75 and above mile an hour bat speeds. I don't know why. I do know why they outlawed it, because they think it's altering. They think it increases the performance. It does not increase the performance. It does increase the performance prematurely, but it doesn't make it any hotter than what it would get if it was broke in. I've tested it. 6 bats. I didn't tell the guys about it. Whenever they cracked, I checked it. It gives you the same performance as it would if you were breaking in regularly. But here's the deal. It made each bat that I did when I rolled it last about 100 swings, average 100 swings more than not rolling it. So it didn't do anything to the performance, but it made your bat last a little longer. And there's a reason why I was told why it does that, because I went back to the guy that rolled mine at the time, and I said, why does it make it last longer? And he was explaining to me about, you have rosin in here, right? You have carbon and you have rosin. Well, whenever you high impact on a rosin, if that's in the barrel, it tends to powderize it, right? It makes it out of powder. But if you lightly roll it, the striations, it breaks it in where it's like crisscross, doesn't powderize it. And he gave me and I was trying to listen to what he was saying. He was trying to explain to me about, you take a front windshield of a car and you take a ball and you hit it with a front wheel, or a Brock, and you hit it with that front windshield. What it does is powderize all that stuff in there, right? So you've seen it. It looks like it's powder, but if you take your hand and just barely push on it, it tends to break those. It kind of cracks where you can see all the cracks, because it's got that shatterproof windshield. That's the way he explained it to me. You take a hard rock, boom, you hit that windshield, powderizes everything inside of it, the glass and everything. But if you take a regular, let's say you're pushing up against it and you crack it, it tends to spider it a little bit better. So that's what he was telling me about the way a bat roller does whenever he does your barrel. Doesn't make it hotter. It doesn't make it turn into this monster where you're going to hit the ball 15 feet further than if you would have just broke the bat in, just hitting it. I didn't see any big, increase in distance on either one that we did. I did see that the bat lasted 100 swings further. Now, here's another thing too, guys, and I want to get this out there because a lot of you guys are thinking, we don't roll our bats. Because of what we do, we don't have to. So we get out, we hit balls, we want to get a true review on a bat, and I can speak for my group of guys that I have with me. We do not roll our bats because of what we do. We're out there hitting. We live in South Texas. We live where we can hit all the time. Now, let me explain to you, and I don't think those guys, if your bat speed's above 75 mile an hour, I don't think you need to roll your bat. I think that you guys can get it broke in pretty fast. The only thing I think that is acceptable with those guys, and I really don't care if you do it or not, but I think the only reason that it's acceptable to those guys is if they have a tournament coming up and they're like 4 days out and they can't break their bat in fast enough to go to that tournament. And I'm anal about this, is whenever I pick a bat out that I want to use, I have to swing it in a tournament. I am just OCD about that shit. That's how come I always have 2 bats in my bag. They'll be the same bat that I'm swinging. There's no difference in sizes. One is my gamer, which is broken, and the other one is my backup. And my backup usually has close to 200, 250 swings. It's almost there, but it's for my backup, right? Now, that's for the 75 above mile an hour bat speeds. Let me talk about the 75 and below mile an hour bat speeds. And the reason I know this is because I am anal about thinking about shit, and it's just, and this is the reason I come up with this theory of mine. This is the reason that this video is going to be put out there. I'm going to explain to you guys about my thought, right? We are hitting years ago when I was doing all this stuff, is when I first started, we would go out and there would be seniors on the field next to us. So after I would get done doing my stuff and the guys would take off and I had some time to burn, I would go over there and just talk to those guys about, bats. And this guy comes up to me and he I don't even know if he's playing anymore. It's been so long ago. He comes up to me and he goes, hey, this bat sucks for me. And, can you do me a favor? And I go, what's that? Could you hit it a little bit? And I said, man, that's one of the top tier bats. I think it's like number 2 on my list. Barrel softens up. And just to let you know what it was that white Ultra 2 2-piece bat that came out, I want to say 10 years ago, 9 years ago. Everybody loved that bat. Bat would crack a little fast, but everybody loved that bat. Bat barrel got soft on it. I love that bat. It's a white Ultra 2 Mikan, end-loaded. Because remember, later on down the road, they made that white one a balance bat. This was with the end-loaded one, version of it. Well, I said, when'd you buy it? I was getting ready to hit with it. And he goes, when'd you buy it? He goes, 2 years ago, I've been working on it. All right, so I got up there, and at first 2 swings, I said, it's not broken. He goes, what? I said, I had it 2 years. Why hadn't it broke in? You're not generating enough bat speed. And he's like, oh, he goes, can you do me a favor and break it in the way you break your bats? And I said, sure can. Guys, it took me about, because he had hit it already, it took me about 100 swings on my bat speed, which at that time was in the 90s, 100. And I got it there fast. And I go, okay, now swing it. He gets up there, totally different sound. He hits it and he goes, wow. And I'm just, which comes to this conclusion, right? If you live up north, right, your bat speed is under 75 mile an hour, get your bat rolled, okay? Find somebody that can do it, and have them roll it to a senior softball bat. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to explain all that here in a minute. But what happens with a disadvantage of you guys that live up north, you don't have enough time, nor do you have enough bat speed to get that bat broke in. You can go, I'm going to tell you guys, you can go years before that bat breaks in. This is the biggest complaint. And I think if you guys do this, you would actually be able to judge bats a whole lot better. So when I'm swinging a bat and I'm putting out a review, and then it's in my top 5. Back in the day, it used to be in my top 5, now it's my top 10. And you guys buy that bat and you take it out and you try to swing it, it's not going to perform the way it would for me, because there's a way that I break my bats in. I have guys that are swinging in 100 miles an hour that can get it there faster. You can get that bat there faster 1 or 2 ways. Find somebody that's got that 90-mile-an-hour bat speed that breaks it in the way we break them in, or get it rolled, one of the two. The problem with a lot of you seniors up north with this problem, and I say up north because you can't hit them all the time because of the weather, and our bats are so fragile because they weren't what they were 10 years ago. They're making bats different. They're more high-tech bats. They don't last as long. And you've got to change. You got to change everything up. You're not generating the bat speed to flex that barrel, to get that barrel to respond for you, for one. Another thing too, you can't hit it. Your weather sucks up there. So when they offer you to break your bat in and get it done, there's no way to check it. And here's the reason why I say this, is because you're at a disadvantage. If your guys are up north and you're playing against the guys that are from California or Florida or South Texas, you're going to be at disadvantage when you walk on the field because that bat's not going to perform the way it performs for us, for you. You're going to, and when you guys, like I started saying this a minute ago, when you guys, I pick out that top 5 or that top 10, you guys are going to pick that bat up and you're going to hit it and you're going to hit it and you're not generating that bat speed. That's how come I've been thinking about this for years, about that. And I've been mentioning this for years about that under 75-mile-an-hour bat speed. You guys got to pick a softer barrel bat, right? Dense mass on the end, light handle weight. You want to get some performance. But here's the deal. That's all bullshit coming out of my mouth if you don't have enough time to swing this bat. Because when you pick those bats up, you've got to swing them. Softest barrel out there right now. Right now, this bat, softest barrel out there. It still needs some break-in time. It still needs to get that barrel where it's going to flex. We got it there fast because we were hitting in 85-degree weather, and we're hitting spinners at first, and then we go to our regular balls later on, and then we started taking, by the time we're at the end of our little batting session, you know, when we're doing our reviews, that bat's ready to go. Because I have a lot of guys swinging it. So you guys up north, you know, sound like a broken record here. Let me get to the point. You guys over 75-mile-an-hour bat speed, only if you're getting ready for a tournament would I say do this, because you're going to break the bat in. You guys up north that have that, you know, over 75-mile-an-hour bat speed, you might want to look into it if you cannot get out and hit that bat. Or you're coming up to a tournament that you cracked your gamer and you're back up, you know, you got a brand new one coming out, and get it rolled before you go to the tournament. And then it only takes a few more swings to actually get it there. And when you roll a senior softball bat, it's not game ready. You just can't get out there and just start hitting it. You've got to give it some swings, guys, to get it where it's going to start flexing for you. The only thing rolling does is get it there a little bit faster, right? So you don't have to get out there in the snow and hit. You can get it broke in if you put over 100 swings on it within a day to get it where it's game ready, flying out, everything's fine. But you're at a disadvantage if you guys are up north, if you guys have that under 75-mile-an-hour bat speed, and you think you can compete with the California teams that have been hitting all the time with that bat, or the South Texas guys, or the Texas guys that are hitting with that bat, or the Florida guys that hit all the time because of the weather that they have. So you guys, I recommend heat rolled. I don't care. There's no big difference. Heat rolling doesn't make a bat perform better than regular rolling. It just doesn't do that. It's just something new that they threw out there. Get it done if they offer it. You know, what, 25, 30 bucks? That way it keeps you, you know, it's the difference between hitting, I'm just going to throw out some numbers. It's the difference from hitting 700 in a tournament to hitting 800 in a tournament, because that ball gets just up when you roll it, you know, and you put some swings on it to get it game ready. The ball just zips through that infield a lot better. But it would do the same thing if you put 500, 600 swings on it. Do the same thing. There's no difference. I don't even know why they outlawed that shit, You know, and the first time that I seen that they were outlawing that shit years ago, my first thought process, well, okay, you're going to put the guys up north with that under 75 mile an hour bat speed at a disadvantage. You know, it's up to you. I'm not telling you. I'm just explaining to you why I would do it. And if I was up north, I would do it because I there's no way I can hit. There's, you know, because of the weather on where it is. If my mile an hour bat speed was under 75 mile an hour, I would do it. I would be out there bragging that I did it because people, it's hard to change people's mind when they see it in a book that says laws or rules and they said it's illegal. The first thing out of their mind, and you have that Karen out there that is a guy, and the first thought of their mind is you're cheating. You got an altered bat. And then he starts talking shit. And then they start talking shit. And you hit good in the tournament. Well, at least I'm not using a cheater bat. That's all bullshit. So just don't say anything about it. Get it done. It doesn't do anything to increase performance. Why? Because I've tested them, guys. I've tested them. Now, let me get past that. Again, you got that bat speed under 75 mile an hour. You're that older guy. You got to get it done. If you hit a lot of balls, then don't worry about it. You hit a lot of balls, don't worry about it. You know, turn it in your hands every quarter turn. If you guys look at my videos, every quarter turn, I'm turning my hands. You know, I call it a quarter turn, but it's not a quarter turn. Maybe a little bit more than a quarter turn. But I'm constantly spinning it in my hands all the time. That way, and don't worry about hitting the ball down here or hitting the ball here. Don't worry about that. If you guys watch our video, our behind the scenes video, you can tell in our first round when I bring brand new bats out, we're hitting nothing but spinners and I'm throwing them and the guys aren't swinging at 100%. That way it gets it there, right? It gets it there. We're not hitting the ball with full velocity on a brand new bat and powderizing it. We're actually using spinners, our 200s, what do they call them, 52 300s? 52 300s, and what they tell you is just take light swings, 100 swings into it, take light swings so you don't powderize that rosin that's in that carbon, that actually holds that carbon together, basically is what you want to do. So if you guys are living in California, you guys are living in Florida, Arizona, Texas, you know, South area, the way to break, I'll do a video on that. Let me do a video on that because I'm getting way too long into this one. Okay, when you take it in to get it rolled, or if you get somebody to roll it for you, it's called a light roll. That's how they do it. What they do is they stick it in the machine. And here's the deal too, guys, is don't have him do that. If you have to, do it, but don't have him do where the roller, and I don't think I have one here. Oh, let me do it this way, just to explain something. Let's say this is a roller, right? Don't have them do it this way. And then they compress the wall and they do a quarter turn. The way they do U-trip bats and ASA bats, they'll do a quarter turn 4 times. Only do it 3 times with a senior bat. So what you're gonna do, what they usually do is they put it going like this, right? They do it going like this, and they do a quarter turn, and that's it for seniors. If you have somebody that rolls bats, or you have a guy a friend of yours that has a bat rolling machine, that's what you need to tell them. Because what happens, they're not built like the ASA, not built like U-SSA. And I learned this when I did the first video. They do a quarter turn. When they lay it on there, they tighten it and they do a quarter turn. That's it, you're done. Another thing too, if you talk to those guys, and they usually, if they've done this before, if they haven't done this before, kind of explain to them how to do it. But if they have done this before, explain how you want this done. Stick the bat in this way, right? So what you're doing is you bring it down, and you're going to bring it down here, right? And you're going to let it where it hits, and then you do the quarter turn, and you're going to roll it this way. So basically, you're doing it like this, all the way up and down the barrel. And you're turning it, and then you go all the way around, and you'll do a quarter turn and do the same thing over again. And go as far into, you see where that tapers off into the handle? Go as far into this as you can, up in this area. It's a little hard because it's a little thicker there, right? So when you go into this area, kind of do it right in here. Have them do it, but make sure they don't go over total 3/4 of a turn. This is the best way, better than this way. This is better than this, okay? You get these guys out there that roll bats, don't know what they're talking about, kind of explain to them what you want done. Hey guys, don't go over 3/4 of a turn when you're doing this, and do a light roll on it. That's basically what you want, and make sure that you do it this way. And you're going up into this area right here, because that helps with the flex of the barrel. Now guys, that what I told you doesn't do anything to the performance. It helps your bat out. You older guys, it helps it out tremendously. And if you guys think that's cheating, you know, that's fine with me. I'm not here to convince you guys. I am really not here to convince you. I can care less if you think it's cheating. Then what I would do is I would get somebody with that 80, 90 mile an hour bat speed. I wouldn't go into the hundreds. You know, get that 80, 70, 80 mile an hour bat speed in there, that he's just going to sit there and just take light toss. Well, not like toss, but just light swings, maybe 70, no more than 75% of his swing, and have him hit that bat until he breaks that bat, and have it turn it, you know, 52 300s, spinner balls, have him hit those. You can go to a D-bat. That would be a great place to go. Just go to D-bat. I even do that. I'll go to D-bat on a bat that I want, because I'm actually if I crack my bat and I'm going to a tournament in the next couple of days, I'll go straight to D-bat, and I'll spend hours in there just hitting those balls in D-bat. You guys remember the cork center balls, day-night Dudleys? Back in the day, that's basically what you're hitting in D-bat. And hit their balls. Take your balls in there, but hit their balls and just do boom. And you can swing full swing on those balls. And they're almost like a cloth ball. It's kind of weird, put together, cloth plastic looking stuff. And I'll bet it, I'll bet the compression on that thing's probably like 150. You know, and just, you know, just hit those, and you're not gonna, you'll get it there a lot faster. If you guys don't want to roll your bat, that's fine. I'm not gonna here to convince you on rolling a senior softball bat. For my buddies up north that that can't get out, that have that under 75 mile an hour bat speed, you're at a disadvantage, man, if you go to a tournament, because the guy that you're playing against plays out of Texas, he plays out of Arizona, California, Florida. He's going to be way up on top of what you got in your hands. And then a lot of guys up north tend to pick out of my top 10, and they'll text me and go, Dave, this bat sucks. I've got 100 swings on it. Nothing's happening. I got 200 swings on it. Nothing's happening. Well, for one, you need to tell me your bat speed. What is your bat speed putting in 200 swings? Dave, I just can't get it to open up. That is the biggest question that I've gotten in 14 years I've been doing this, 13 and a half years I've been doing this. That's the biggest question. Dave, I can't get this bat to open up. I can't get to open up. What's your miles per hour? You know, what kind of balls are you hitting? You know, if you grab one of my top 10, you think it's not breaking in, then there's a problem. There's a problem, because I've already done all that. I've already had guys swinging it. My guys are different than your guys, right? I have a system that I go through whenever we would hit. I got a system that I go through. You know, all the new bats are here. The new bats are going to get the first round spinners. And then boom, they go down the line. Next time I show up, if I got any new bats, they're the first bats we hit. And I only hit them no more than 15 times. Then I take them away from the guys, because a lot of guys get into the bat. They love the bat, and they'll just keep hitting it and hitting it. So I've got to get a pitch count on them, you know, because what will happen with these bats, if that carbon is being hit with, let's say, over 75 mile an hour, you know, and it starts to warm up, you know, guys hitting it on, it'll start to warm up that carbon. Now that doesn't, it's not one thing I want to get through with you guys. That does nothing to do the carbon. It does a lot to the rosin. So you're damaging your bat. You take over 50 swings with brand new, I'm talking about. And this damage you're doing cannot be reversed. So the start off period when you're doing this is very critical for the life of a bat. Because you might give it to somebody, you know, hey, can you break this in for me? Take it. Well, okay, how's he going to break it in? Is he going to hit, is he going to hit hot ass balls with it and then bring it back? The damage is already done to the bat, but you don't know unless you're sitting there watching them. Shit, my guys get out of control. And I've got to, hey, whoa, stop. Give it, put it away. You've got to see the behind the scenes video. Give it, put it away, you know? They just get on a roll, you know? Oh shit, let me see if I get the next one further. Let's see the next one further. Well, they're doing damage to the bat. But they're on a strict, like I got to keep, you know, tabs on them because they're on a strict, like, okay, use the bats for breaking in with my spinners on the first round, all the way down the line. This is how critical this is actually turned into with all of this, is because the bats are just so high tech. And if you guys, you know, this is how come from this point forward is you guys need to look at my, you know, the harder barrel bats compared to the softer barrel bats. You guys got under that 75-mile-an-hour bat speed. You need to go to the softer barrel bat. You're going to get better performance. Learn how to swing it. You guys with that, and it takes less time to break in that softer barrel. Just to let you know, softer barrel doesn't take that many swings. But if you guys have under that 75-mile-an-hour bat speed and you picked a bat off that group on that side, that up above 75-mile-an-hour bat speed, you're not going to break that bat in. I know you're calling me up and you're talking to me about it on the phone, and I'm going, well, what bat do you have? What's your bat speed? You know, do you know what your bat speed is? Go to DBAT, find out what your bat speed is. They have those on computers, everything there. They can set you up, find out what your bat speed is. Or there's stuff you can buy on the internet, Amazon, that has bat speed. Okay, so when you guys under that 75-mile-an-hour bat speed out there, you don't understand why one of my top 10s on that side, it's not performing well for you. It's, Dave, I can't get to open up. Well, you're not generating enough bat speed. Softer barrels would benefit you more in the long run. It'll get you there faster. And then better trampoline effect for you. Not necessarily for the other guys that have that above 75-mile-an-hour bat speed. I'll do another video on all that shit. I got 2 more videos I have to do. You know, one of them is on that and what's better for you. But guys, you guys live up north. You don't have that bat speed you used to have, under 75-mile-an-hour bat speed. Get your bat rolled. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. I got a couple more here that I want you to take a look at. And if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button right down here below. And I also have a membership channel. It's that little join button that you have right down here. Click on it, and it actually has a small video in there that explains everything in the membership. Plus, it actually helps support what we do. Thanks, guys.